Plunging DPSs have never been the same, especially now that we have Jingyuan in the mix. But of course, one 4-star that got announced alongside her was Gaming. Now, Gaming is of course a pyro plunging DPS, and we haven't really had any plunging DPSs since Zhao, which was in the, original 1.0s. So it's really cool to see that we now have another one. But of course, how should you build them? Well, let's go ahead and take today to talk about what you need to do to ascend your Gaming from level 1 to level 90, while also building him as a casual build. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about, the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you like the content, and of course, hit that like, comment, subscribe. And don't forget, I'm also sponsored by Gamer Subs. Yes, I have a little shaker in here, so my apologies for that little bit of noise. But use code Taisha for 10% off, and honestly, it's great. Keto friendly, gluten-free, awesome stuff. So anyways, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into today's video. As you can see, we have Gaming up right now. Gaming is of course a pyro DPS of the Claymore weapon type, and let's go ahead and talk about, of course, all this goody stuff. So first things first, we need the Agnetis Agat silvers, the fragments, the chunks, and the gemstones. Pretty standard for every single character. You're gonna need 1 of the silvers, you're gonna need 9 of the fragments, 9 of the chunks, and 6 of the gemstones. And of course, they have a rule of 3. 3 silvers make a fragment, 3 fragments make a chunk, and 3 chunks make a gemstone. Pretty standard for Hoyoverse games. Now, of course, you could get these from a multitude of different bosses. First things first, the newest boss that just came out with the Emperor, or not newest, but Emperor of Fire and Iron, or Big Giant Crab Volcano Boy, you could actually fight him to get these items. You could also fight the Pyro Regisvine, the Pyro Hypostasis, so you have plenty of options. Not only that, but you're going to need the Emperor's Resolution, which is actually from the Emperor of Fire and Iron. So you're going to need 46 of these, which is 23 times that you'll have to fight him on a bare minimum if you're getting 2 per run. Now, I would just recommend fighting him because of the fact that you're going to need these anyway, and he drops them, so it's perfect. You're also going to need Star Conches, which is an original item that came in base game. It was one of the first I think leeway specialty items that you find in leeway when you walk the beaches. So Star Conches, you're going to need 168 of them. It's been out for a while, so I'm pretty sure people have a ton. They have a back order of these things, or a back order. I'm an idiot. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about also the items that you're going to need: the slime condensates, the slime secretions, and of course also the slime concentrates. So if you look over here, you're going to need 18 of the condensates. You're going to need 30 of the secretions, and of course 36 of the concentrates. So make sure that you farm those slimes. It's a base enemy that's been here since the beginning, so you should have plenty of them. You should have seen a lot of them by now. And of course, you're gonna need some Mora for this, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and get into talents. Because if you want to triple crown your Gaming, you're gonna need a lot of resources. It's a very big resource grind to triple crown your characters. So let's go ahead and first talk about, you're gonna need the teachings of prosperity, the guides of prosperity, and the philosophies of prosperity. Now, these are in the leeway domain of these for talents. Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. My apologies. I'm like kind of, it's been a crazy couple days. But yes, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays, you can farm these, and you're gonna need 9 in total of the teachings. You're gonna need 63 of the guides of prosperity and 114 of the philosophies of prosperity. And again, rules of 3. 3 teachings make a guide, 3 guides make a philosophy. Pretty standard. Again, you're going to need more slime stuff. So slime condensates, you're going to need 18 more. Slime secretions, you're going to need 66 more. And of course, you're going to need 93 more of the slime concentrates. So there's that. And then you're going to need the lightless mass world boss item, which is from the all-devouring narwhal. So if you've been doing it weekly like I have, you're gonna have a lot of these by now, so make sure to keep on farming it. You're gonna need 18 lightless masses in total. If you don't have only lightless mass and you have the other stuff, you could actually go to Timaeus over in Mondstadt, or any of the crafting benches in general, and switch those to the appropriate one, just so long as you have the materials to do so. And then of course you're going to need 3 Crowns of Insight, which again is standard to every character, with about 7.1 million mora between ascending and talents. So Gaming is definitely one of those characters that I think like does make sense to triple crown, but also doesn't, because again 4 stars normally aren't as powerful as other characters. So talent priority I would definitely say is very tough with Gaming, and we're going to go into the actual trial for Jingyuan, so that way we could actually use Gaming with the actual 5-star that he's good with. But talent priority I would say is skill, burst, and the normal attack, because most of the time you're going to be doing your skill. So again, we're going to go into Jingyuan's, but we're going to be using Gaming in this one, just to be clear, because I think this team works way better for Gaming. So let's take a look at the Gaming that they used for this one. The talent or not the talent priority, but the priority of crit rate and crit damage is decent, but of course you're gonna have to look at it at the weapons that he's gonna be using. Attack is almost 2,000, which is decent as well, but they're using a Serpent Spine to get that crit rate up, which means that the artifacts that they used weren't exactly the best. Now let's go ahead and talk about it. So Serpent Spine is definitely a good option for Gaming. Every 4 seconds a character is on the field, they will deal 6% more damage and take 3% more damage. This effect has a maximum of 5 stacks, which means that you're going to be taking upwards to 15% extra damage with Serpent Spine, which normally isn't that bad so long as you're dodging. But Serpent Spine, I would say, is definitely not his best weapon option. If you're going for the 5-star, honestly, Red Horn is with as much crit rate as not crit rate, but crit damage, excuse me, as it gives. Followed by actually the Maulflower is a great 4-star to put on him. Rain Slasher, surprisingly, is a good 4-star to put on him as well. You could use Wolf's Gravestone, which is one of the longest dwelling 5-stars. So you have plenty of options, but I feel like the Claymores are always lacking in good Claymores outside of the 5-stars. So hopefully we get some better Claymores as time goes on. Now, of course, we also have artifacts. So let's talk about artifact sets. They're using a 4-piece Crimson Witch, which I think is actually one of the better sets for him, and works really, really well. 15% pyro damage bonus, which is, you know, obviously fantastic. And then the 4-piece increases overloaded, burning, and Bergeron damage by 40%, increases vaporize and melt damage by 15%, and using an elemental skill increases the 2-piece effect by 50%. So that's really good, especially since, you know, you're wanting to deal as much pyro damage as you possibly can. So I can't really fault anybody for using that one. But another set that I am farming myself, because I feel like this set is like basically the new emblem of Severed Fate, in the sense of like the go-to set for a lot of different characters, is Marachusei Hunter. Now, Marachusei Hunter normal and charge attack damage is plus 15%, but of course you're going to be using a skill. But when current HP increases or decreases, crit rate is increased by 12% for 5 seconds with a max of 5 stacks. So this works really, really well in regards to getting that crit rate up. And I feel Marachusei Hunter giving you that 36% crit rate is just perfect, because you're doing a lot of skill damage, and of course normal and charge attacks are going to work really, really well with Gaming, but he's mainly a plunging attacker. So that first one will do you a little bit of good, but not so much. But if you do want to go more of the like just attack percentages and Crimson and all this other stuff, you could do a 2-piece Crimson, 2-piece 18% attack bonus, which includes Gladiators, Vermilion, and I think 2 other ones as well. So you have plenty of options, but I would definitely say Marachusei Hunter is a lot better for Gaming than people give it credit for. Now, of course, when you're going for artifact priorities, your main focuses are going to be crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, and maybe even EM, because of the fact that you're going to be using him for, you know, certain things. Now, of course, for your I don't know why I was like going crazy there for a second. For your Sans, you want to focus on attack percentage. You could go EM, but I would definitely say attack percentage takes priority. Pyro damage bonus is definitely the one that you want to go for in regards to your Goblet. That's pretty standard for most DPSs. You want that elemental damage bonus. And then of course for your Circlet, you want to go either crit rate or crit damage, depending on what you're missing for your crit rate or crit damage. If you're lacking in the crit rate, if you're not at that, at least that 40%, get it done. But with Marachuse Hunter getting those stacks and HP decreases and increases, especially if you pair him with a Fiorina, you won't have to worry too much about crit rate. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Now let's go ahead and talk about the talents here. So of course, he's a Claymore user, so we already know that he's gonna be doing that. And plus he's a plunging attacker. Oh, excuse me, that was disgusting. Of course, let's talk about the skill here. Skill, Bestial Ascent, pounces forward using the Wushu arts, leaping high into the air after coming into contact with a target or surface. After Gaming has used Bestial Ascent to rise into the air, if he immediately uses a plunging attack, he will use the especially powerful plunging attack, Charmed Cloud Strider instead. Charmed Cloud Strider, the damage with plunging attacks caused by Bestial Ascent is converted to pyro damage that cannot be overridden by other elemental infusions. Upon landing, Gaming will consume a fixed amount of HP. Gaming's HP cannot be reduced below 10% by using this method, and charged Cloud Strider or Charmed Cloud Strider damage is considered plunging attack damage. That's why it's important to have Marachuse Hunter, because of course, if you're constantly increasing or decreasing your HP alongside of Fiorina, you're gonna get those stacks quickly. So definitely make sure that you're doing that. Of course, let's talk about the Sani's Gilded Dance. Gaming enters Wushu stance, briefly applying pyro to him, recovering a fixed amount of HP, and summons his companion, the Sani Man Chai, to smash into his target, dealing AoE pyro damage. After bashing its target, Man Chai will roll to a nearby location before moving towards Gaming. When it links up with Gaming, Man Chai will leave the field and reset the cooldown of Gaming's elemental skill, Bestial Ascent. While Wushu stance is active, his resistance to interruption is increased, and when Gaming lands a Charmed Cloud Strider attack or completes the forward pounce attack with Bestial Ascent, with over 50% HP, he will summon a Man Chai again. Each Gaming can what? That's such a weird sentence. Each Gaming can only have one Man Chai on the field simultaneously. So I'm guessing if you're running multiple Gamings in a team against a boss, you can only have one Man Chai on the field. Now, his first Ascension passive, Dance of a Midi. After Bestial Ascent's plunging attack Charmed Cloud Strider hits an opponent, Gaming will regain 1.5% of his max HP once every 2 seconds for 0.8 seconds. So that's pretty dope, because he's gonna gain HP back, which means that you're gonna hit that Marachuse Hunter for 4-piece, easy peasy. It's just gonna keep happening. Heirs of Prosperity, his second Ascension passive, when Gaming has less than 50% HP, he will receive a 20% incoming healing bonus. When Gaming has 50% HP or more, plunging attack Charmed Cloud Strider will deal 20% more damage. So it's basically like, if you're less than 50% HP, you gain more HP, but if you're more than 50% HP, you're gaining a 20% increase into your damage, which is dope. I think Gaming is actually a pretty fun and unique 4-star DPS, though he does get outclassed by the likes of, you know, Hu Tao, or in my opinion, even Nekomiya in some cases, but plunging attack damage is a lot of fun with Gaming. So we have this team here. First things first, we're gonna kind of do what we did before in the Jingyuan, get that going, get this ready to go. We're just gonna get that so that we can get his burst ready to go. Go into this, and then get this ready, and then go into that burst. Now look at this damage that he's able to do. And because of the fact that he's gaining that boost from Jingyuan, it's just absolutely bonkers what he's able to do. So let's go back into Jingyuan again, make way for the Adeptus, get this going again. Now, of course, I could have gone with going for Bennett again in that instance, but I think that honestly just proves my point with how well Gaming can do. Plus, he looks really, really cool when he puts up his hood and he goes into that stage. It's super sick. I like Gaming because he's a fun 4-star to play as. Or at least that's what it seems to me. I think he is a lot of fun. Now, granted, it sucks with all the stuff that's going on that I'm having to wait until the event is able to actually give me Gaming, but I do feel like he's definitely one of those 4-star characters that you will have a lot of fun with. Is he game breaking? Absolutely not. But I think that with a game like Genshin Impact, when it's not really like you don't need the game breaking characters, he's a lot of fun. So if you like fun, you'll like Gaming, in my personal opinion. And of course, course, that's going to be it for today's video. If you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And y'all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again with another Genshin Impact video very, very soon. So until then, love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in the next video. Please take care and be safe.